Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Max Lindquist, brother, it is so good to see you and have you back on the show.
Absolutely. It's been a while and it's always fun to come back and catch up with you here, Leonard.
Oh, dude, I've been watching your results, watching your career, missing some of our long conversations that we had, after our shows and before. You're one of the young people that I can relate to and talk to for a long time. So just know that you always have a home here, brother.
I appreciate it and can definitely say the same. Crazy how fast life seems to speed up lately, but at the same time, always good to slow down and take it in a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, when you figure out how to slow it down, would you let me know?
Yeah, still working on that one.
Me too, brother. Me too. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your year. I want you to get into some of the lowlights, some of the highlights, more of the highlights than the lowlights. But in our you mentioned a slow start. Is there a specific reason for that, or is it just the way things work?
Um, Man, not normally. Usually come out pretty strong, and this year for some reason just didn't quite like. To be honest, I didn't feel ready for the season to start. Like it came really fast this year. And I didn't quite have like everything where I wanted it to be to go to the first two rounds. And like with how our series started this year, like we were two races in within 1 week, in March there. And that was huge. Like luckily I felt like I took pretty good advantage of the second round. But those first two were kind of like a precursor for me. I feel like they were, we started off at Daytona, which is always different, and then we went to Deckers, which was the whole new deal, doing that Triple Crown, and that was a huge learning experience. And to be honest, as the season went, like I struggled the most. I feel like at the Triple Crown stuff, just because like it's no secret at this point in my career, I've not been a great starter. And you shorten the moto times up and bring that intensity up, and it makes it that much harder to get to the front of the field. So that's been a big like struggle or like something I've been working on all year to try and figure out. Like, and it kind of took me half the season, I'd say, to like be able to get there. But definitely, like, it was what it was. I kept myself in the hunt at the start of the year, and then I felt like we had like our month break midsummer where I kind of put my entire program together. I got the machine where I wanted it, and everything kind of took off from there. And I feel like from the midway point of our season on has been one of my strongest years yet, if not the strongest finish to the year. Which I'm pretty happy about, and like looking forward to what can come from that.
Let me ask you a question, a little bit off topic, but it'll set up the second half of what you have to tell us about your season. You had such a dominant pro-am career. Do you think that stock pro class and racing pro-am would allow you to elevate your pro racing right now?
Absolutely. Like for me, I feel like that was one of the biggest reasons I came into pro and kind of made as big of a splash as I did, like being on the podium in my first year and getting those good results was you didn't really have the pre-race jitters of never lining up with Joel Hetrick and Chad Wienen before. Like I raced them for an entire season before I actually went pro. Same with Thomas, like all those top guys you were still racing just at a slower pace. And for me, I think that was huge to like understand how aggressive those guys were going to race against you and like how big a mistake was going to cost you. And then it gave me a whole off season to prepare for that. And I definitely feel like that's one of the biggest benefits I've had out of my career, just timing wise and coming into like the pro class was having that class to kind of like stepping stone me into being a professional.
Well, one of the portions of my question are, do you think that if you could still race pro-am or if you still had that stock class, would it benefit you now?
Um, I think it would be enjoyable now. Um, like it was a big learning curve for me at that point in time. Right now, I would enjoy because I'm already at the race to do it. Like I think it's a fun like class. Like it was a little less serious than what pro is right now, and expense wise, it was way easier to do. Um, Speed wise, like our machines at this point are so much different than that stocker. Like I used to train on a stock machine between races and in the wintertime a lot, and I've kind of moved away from it. Um, it taught me some very valuable things, like getting into the pro class on like not scrubbing speed and like line selection and keeping momentum up. But at the same time, we're at a point right now where I feel like our pro machines are so much better than that stalker that like it's hard to like stimulate that pace. Like you just not having the lack of power is so different right now that it's kind of hard to like use it as a training device. Racing wise, I do think it could be beneficial. Like I would have enjoyed it, like say at the start of this year when you were like struggling on Saturday in the pro class to like get the finishes you wanted. I think it would have been a confidence booster to have that on Sunday to go back out there and just get more gate drops in and race with the guys Sunday that you were on Saturday. That could have been helpful just to know like give you an idea of if like you're physically lacking or like if your machine's lacking. Like I felt like part of my struggles at the start of the year were like me fighting the machine. And I feel like if we'd have had that class on Sunday, I might have been able to like being on a stock machine, there's not near the variables. You may have like been able to kind of tell if it was like yourself physically and like your speed where you're at, or if you were missing like a setup on Saturday. I feel like it maybe would have like clarified that a little more for a rider. Absolutely.
That's great. So as you worked through your early season issues of getting, comfortable,
Yep.
when you got to the halfway point, your position in points, the field that you were up against, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Um, like coming into that half, for me, I kind of hit rock bottom, to be honest. Like that was the halfway point of the season was Sunset Ridge, round five was my home race, like something I look forward to every year. And it was a Triple Crown event. And I blew it. I got tangled up with another rider. I crashed on my own. Like you name it, I did it. It was a terrible weekend for me personally. Um, and I kind of took myself out of the points. Like I think I was eighth, seventh, eighth, ninth, somewhere in that range, like almost at definitely towards like closer to 10th than I was fifth. And we had a month off after that. And like for me, that was kind of a blessing in disguise. Like I had been struggling leading up to that race, but like going into that event, being on the podium there the year before, like I was pretty confident that I was going to be able to put together a good day, and it totally backfired on me. And it kind of like relit a fire in me a little bit going home after that one, like just having that sour taste in the mouth going home. I knew I had a month to like recoup and figure things out, so I kind of took a week and just like let the machine sit and worked on myself. And then from there I did what I thought I needed to do, like setup wise, and got in touch with the people I needed to get things figured out. And man, I feel like that month off really saved this season for me. Like coming into those last five races, I was at the back of the pack in the points where like our field was super strong this year, probably the strongest it's been in a long time. And I kind of had the weight off my shoulders at that point where I knew like it really couldn't get any worse. And I think that was good for me to just go to the races and have no pressure and basically just build. And I think that was a lot of the key to like my late in the season success was just like having no pressure and going out there because I enjoyed it and I wanted to better myself and just like prove that like I'm still in that hunt for that podium week in and out.
So this was a teaching lesson for you as far as how to start the year next year, even if you put yourself in a position for to be in the top 3 or 2 for points, you have to get
Yep.
rid of that pressure so that you can perform at your highest level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, a lot of it, to be honest, like there was pressure, but I think most of it for me was just program. Like I made a few changes over the off season, and tried some things, and like I've done this before in my career and it set me back, and I kind of had to revert to what I knew and build from there again. And sometimes it's more just getting over being stubborn and like thinking something's better even though it might not be. And I think there's a lot of times that to any rider that that can happen where you get on something and you feel that it's better or you're making progress and maybe you're actually going the wrong way. And for me, that was kind of it. Was like I kind of made some really big changes in the middle of the season and started like being open to ideas that I wasn't earlier in the year, and that really benefited me. So, like, absolutely, like big learning curve for going forward is like I have a base. I know what I like right now. Gonna try and stay close to that, but yet be open to like trying things, you know, out of my realm or that I maybe not might not be comfortable with just to know. And always knowing that worst case scenario, I can go back to what I have and what I know works. And that's something that I just feel like I personally need to get better at in my career. Just being able to be okay with like setting something aside and coming back to it later and using what I know works rather than just being stubborn and trying to push through and make something work that really isn't.
Totally get it. That's why you're young, and testing things is great, and always trying to evolve is even better. But it's not always possible. Sometimes you have to fall back on Mr. Dependable or whatever the dependable part is, and make it happen so that your comfort allows you to run in the front instead of running in the back. But every time I talk to you, there's so much maturity and so much growth there. It amazes me that you're still very, very young. Um,
Thank you.
it's great. It's great. I'm gonna, change it up on you here, get a little bit of outside perspective of what's going on in your motocross world. You have up to 5 riders that are going to be retiring or not coming back next year. How do you see this affecting the ATV MX Pro class?
I mean, losing riders is never good. You know, never want to see anyone go. At the same time, happy for a lot of guys that are like they're making, you know, big life decisions and good for them. But at the same time, for us as a sport, like I think it is going to really change some things. Obviously, like not sure what numbers are going to look like on the gate going forward next year. Hoping like from what I'm hearing, we're gonna definitely gain some younger riders, but I do think like for riders like myself that are younger and other riders coming up that are younger, like it's a big I feel like it's a big moment in our sport where like coming into next season, you can really really improve yourself. Like you're losing a lot of heavy hitters. Like the guys that are leaving are your veterans, your older guys, that are you know, in that top 5 in that hunt every weekend. And I think that that is going to change a lot of like what that top 5 looks like, top 10 going forward. I think you're going to see a lot of guys like make big jumps and pushes forward. And you may see guys that you didn't expect, you know, get there as well. So I think it's like going to be a very important off season to like put in the work because there I think there's a lot of unknowns going into next year on like where things are going to stack up for riders.
So where do you see Mac evolving into the ATV MX lineup next year?
Oh, man, kind of where I see myself where I should be every year. Like I think I should be on that podium every weekend, and obviously, I did really good at that in 24. This year, not so much. Definitely going into 26. Like I don't feel like there's no reason not to be in that top 3 every weekend. Definitely have my work cut out for me to do it, but the goal is definitely gonna be to consistently be in that podium hunt and pushing closer for those top 2 guys as well.
Is Joel Hetrick's beatable?
I mean, we've seen it this past weekend. He's human, at least. He can take himself out of a race a little bit. Not that he really took himself out, but he's definitely beatable. So just need to have the right day and put all the pieces of the puzzle together at the right time.
Hmm. Good answer. Good answer. It's almost like you knew that question was going to come up and you were talking about it in the mirror.
Uh, I mean, it isn't the first time I've been asked, and to be honest, for me, like it's definitely a goal. Joel's on another level from us guys right now, and that has to be what you're shooting for. Like, I don't show up to race to take second. Obviously, everyone has been in the past 2 years, but going forward, at some point, someone's got to do it, and obviously, the goal is to be that guy.
Well, good luck, and I hope that happens for you. As we transition here in our conversation, you do some work with ML2 and some riding schools. Um, Talk a little bit about what you're doing to help the youth and the branding of ML2.
Yeah, ML2 something I started going pro, like just just trying to like get another platform for my sponsors to be at. It's another platform for myself to grow and brand myself personally. And, I use it like riding schools haven't been as huge the last 2 years. Just for whatever reason, haven't been getting the turnouts as normal, but still trying to like take on a few riding schools and like working with younger kids to like continue to grow the sport and hopefully like pass down some knowledge and as well as like working with like riders from other countries. Like I've been having riders come in from overseas and like providing them with either a machine or like working with them on their machine skills or off the machine workouts, whatever it may be. Like definitely something that I've enjoyed doing lately, and I feel like it's been good for the sport as well. Like just trying to like reach more people in general and bring more people into our races and into the atmosphere and just slowly trying to grow it, not trying to do anything overnight, but just slowly, like, doing what I can with it.
You do work a full-time job. Not everybody knows this, but you do have a job. You're working every day. Is it tough balancing your working, your racing, and then trying to help develop the younger riders that are coming up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously only so much time in the day. Like, this season, to be honest, more than last, I've had a more flexible schedule. Like, last year, I I worked full weeks no matter what, 40 hours, 50 hours a week, no matter what, and this year, like, mid-season, I pulled back a little bit when I started struggling, and I took a little more time and effort and focused it into racing. And I feel like that really helped me. Um, and just even like having like working with these other riders later in the year, I feel like just basically focusing on racing more in general, I don't think was a bad thing for me. Just to continue to like kind of help both of us, like help other riders as well as it helps me like focus on myself and racing and what I'm doing. So I've kind of like I'm still figuring that balance out, to be honest. I haven't got that one totally dialed in yet with like my time of working and how much time I personally need training and then like trying to work with other people. Um, it's definitely quite a juggling act and it's not definitely not anywhere near perfect for me yet, but it's been a learning curve and I feel like I've been slowly figuring that out better and better and like I'm working to obviously support this dream and goal of racing ATV motocross professionally and trying to be the best. And It's continuously paying off, I would say, and like that's just how we're gonna keep doing it. Is if it's working 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week, like whatever it is I need to do to be here and to keep this dream going is kind of where we're at with that. And then on the other side of things and working with the youth is when the opportunity is available and we can make that happen, it's always enjoyable for myself and them to pass on some knowledge and to help grow the sport some.
Good answers, buddy. Good answers. Got to take care of those kids. Not everybody knows what it's like to race professional ATVs. The difference between a hobby and a business. This is a business, regardless to what everybody thinks.
Absolutely. I mean, ML2 is an LLC. Like it's money's coming in, money's going out, and you're trying to do everything you can to obviously make more than you're spending. Um, but no, like it's you got to treat it as a job. Like as much as I'm here because I love it and I do it regardless. To be able to be at the top and to be able to compete with the best there is, like it has to be somewhat of a business and a job, um, just to like keep yourself funded and going, and also to keep it serious enough. Like the only way you're going to compete with those guys is if you're putting in that extra effort, you're going the extra mile. It's you're not just showing up every weekend and riding. Like there's a lot more, whether it's mechanic work or it's, in the gym riding, like all that adds up to be a full-time job or more. It's really a lifestyle, like more than it is a job. So you're committing yourself to 7 days a week of some sort of racing involved schedule, no matter what.
I totally understand that. I want to transition to another portion here. If you don't mind, I want to get a little into some technical talk about a professional level YFZ 450R. Um,
Hmm.
this is between maybe your pro-am setup and your pro level bike. If you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about some of those things. I don't want you to give any of your secrets away. Just
Yep.
let's talk about where the line is different. Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, Score, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs.
To be honest, pro am and pro are I feel like a lot more similar than people honestly expect. Like from a cost perspective in my mind, like that part of it's very similar. Like you're building a pro caliper machine to run pro am, like you're at that level and you're riding at that speed where you need to have, you need to have the best shocks you can have underneath you. Like the bike needs to handle, it needs to be fast. Like you need to have those things to compete at a pro am level. The big difference for me between pro am and pro is like the amount of, I would almost say like the fine details, the amount of time you put into the detail of the machine. Like when you're running pro am, maybe you go 2 races on a set of tires, maybe you push, like, a chain and sprockets every couple, like, you're doing what you need to do to keep that machine going and alive, and at least how I was, like, you're still an amateur, you're still just, like, you're still doing the general maintenance where, like, at this point in my career, like I've learned if I want to compete, when I show up to the practice track, like my practice machine needs to be as good as my race machine. Like you're going to that track and you're focusing on getting fast. You're setting a goal for yourself and you're trying to make it happen. So you're bringing, the best you can bring. You're going there, refueled, fresh, like in good shape. You're bringing a machine with you and it's like for me that's been my biggest change going pros. It's what I'm practicing during the week on what I'm racing on in the weekend, so that way when I show up, there's no question marks. Nothing's different. Like you're on that same platform, and I feel like that's a big difference between pro am and pro. Is like in pro am, maybe we run a cheaper fuel for practice, or maybe we're running shorter motos and just working on sprint speed. Where when it comes to competing at the top, like you're doing everything you can to get as much out of practice as you can, whether you need to be out there for a 30-minute moto or you need to be out there doing sprint laps and focusing on starts, like whatever that is, you're bringing that machine there and it's going to the track and it's, you have 100% faith in it that it's not going to fail you. So that way, like you're focusing just on yourself rather than the machine or anything else.
Does that reflect like servicing shocks every time you ride it? Are we
Yeah, like I
are
mean,
we
I shouldn't say like you're getting away in practice more than you are with racing, like if you're racing and you're, rebuilding an engine every, 5 hours, I'm maybe going 15, 20 for practice, but in practice you're taking those race parts and you're testing them. You're pushing them to their limits to find out, you know, what that machine can take, what it can handle, and you're also going to the practice track, running the race fuel. You're, going there, like doing everything you can to simulate race day, which I feel like is just a big difference as you like get into the professional ranks. You learn like, what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and you're going there and you're like bringing that machine ready to work on that and whatever that may be. 'Cause yeah, like, to be honest, that's one thing for me that has been a struggle is, like, it's financially not easy to do that, to go to the track and, be riding what you're racing every weekend. It's costly, but I've learned, like, to maybe dial down the amount of, like, practice days and, like, focus more on the quality, like, kinda quality over quantity on what I'm doing. But you're like when it comes to pro am, you're not sparing anything. Like when you go to that line, you're building that machine and you're going through that thing to where like if you think you can do something to it, you've done it. And you go there knowing that like you're bringing the best you can to the line. Otherwise, like in my opinion, it's not even fair to show up. You're kind of cheating yourself. Like you're holding yourself back.
so when you go to the line from moto or from round one to round two, is that bike that you take to the starting line fresh like it was when you started with Moto One or see race?
Abs Absolutely. Whatever I feel it needs, you're doing, if you feel like you went out there and, the front brakes feel like they're glazed or something's wrong, like you're changing brake pads. If you go out there and, you feel like you're losing traction, like you're putting a fresh set of tires on and it's, costly and hard to do that. But for me, like the peace of mind knowing you're going to the gate and everything is the best it can be and it's all on the rider's shoulders, that's priceless to me.
Yeah, it is. It is. It sounds like not only is your full-time job training and working, but it's prepping that race bike and keeping it at the highest level possible.
Absolutely. Um, I spend I spend more time in the shop than I do probably anywhere else. Just between cleaning it up properly and disassembling everything, going through it, checking over everything, and putting it back together, like that's dang near, a 15 to 20-hour job, depending on how much you're doing, like between rounds. Like it adds up in a hurry how much time you can spend and attention to detail on that machine. Because especially at our level right now, like when you're in pro am, you're shooting for an overall. Like, okay, if a Nerf bar net blows out and I take a third because I'm about ready to run my foot over at the end of the moto, like I can get them in the next one and get a good overall. Like for us, when your points per moto, like you can't afford to give up any points. Like you can't afford to give up a moto, like whether it's a position or whatever the case may be, because something goes wrong. Like that's how you lose championships and go backwards. And I mean, I've done it to myself. I'm still figuring that out, like all how to make sure that doesn't happen, and it's really hard. The amount of attention to detail that these top programs have, your Mark Baldwins and Phoenix Racing and Chad, like the amount of effort like these guys are putting into their race machines. Um, it's as much as people are in a full time job, like just to get that machine ready to go racing, every other weekend.
Yeah, I bet it is. Wow. You're a busy man. Busy, busy, you know, prepping motors and working in the shop and training and then out with your regular job. You know, you probably have been asked this question more times than you'd like to, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Future goals. Where do you see, or what do you see in the future, and what are you aspiring to?
Oh man, I definitely get asked it a lot, and I feel like it changes as time goes, but at the same time, I feel like it's always the same as like I kind of take it year to year. Like this is something that like I feel like one injury or one bad crash can change everything for you. So like I always just year by year kind of like build, and try not to get too long term. Like I'm young and I know that things don't last forever. So usually like year to year, like going into next year, I want to be I've been fourth the last 2 years of points. I want to be third or better. Like that's a goal. I've always wanted to win a moto. Like being a professional athlete growing up, it's always been a dream. Like I've always said, like I want to be the best. I want to say I've won, you know, I want to say I've been able to win a pro race one day, and that still hasn't happened yet. So that's still definitely on the list to do from there. Like my goal has always been to be a professional ATV racer. That's what I've wanted to do for a full-time job since I was 4 years old, going to the doctor. Like they ask you what you want to do. I want to race my four-wheeler professionally. And to this day, like I can still say that goal is the same. Like I'm still working and racing, and at some point, I would love to, if I can get there, like I'd love to just be full time racing. Obviously, it's going to take better results and a few other things that everyone knows that comes along with it, but like that's still a goal to, get to that point in my career where like I can just focus on racing. And obviously, to if all that goes well, like at the end of the day, you're here to win. Like that's the goal. So that's what we're shooting for.
Right on, brother. Right on. So, what are your plans? Do you have any, new rides that you're going to go on, or any other races that you're, working on doing, or anything like that?
Yeah. Like right now, we're only a week out from our season being over, kind of recouping right now, just like going through everything and kind of taking a little break from the machine, but looking towards like the fall time. Currently building a GNCC machine. I want to show up and like do one or two of those yet this fall, have some fun there. And other than that, going forward as into next year, there's still a lot of question marks for myself. Just on program wise, like I don't plan on changing a whole lot, but like it's no joke. It's no question. Like Chad's obviously retiring. And I've worked very closely with him in Wiener Motorsports, and that's something that is definitely going to continue to be a part of my program. And to what extent, still figuring those details out. But like things like that, just like program wise, still needing to sit down and like figure out exactly like what we're going to do, what changes need to be made, what needs to stay the same. All that kind of stuff is a little far out yet. All I know at this point is gonna keep gonna keep focusing this fall on getting better and continue to ride into this fall and try and like do what I can to like get myself ready and progress yet this fall. So when next year rolls around, it's not so much like to necessarily do in the springtime. That's been one of the things that I've wanted to do and just haven't made happen the last couple of years. I get into the fall and I start working and the machine kind of gets shoved aside. And this year, my goal is really to like work on the machine and keep developing and working on myself and my speed into the fall and winter time. And that way, like when spring comes around, there's not so much building per se to be done. It's more maintaining.
Nice, nice. So I wasn't prepared right yet to talk about the Chad Weenan thing, but you brought it up, so we're gonna address it.
Okay.
Chad and you have a great relationship. You have for a number of years. Uh, with his retirement, how does that affect you emotionally?
Um, it's kind of bittersweet. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Like, I'll be curious. I kind of had a taste of it last year with him getting hurt. Like, I spend a lot of time with him and his family that most people may not know. Like, just the amount of time I spend, working out off the machine and training. Like, I do a lot with Chad, whether it's riding or off the machine. And like with him getting hurt last year, I kind of got a taste of like having to do it all on my own. And yeah, not as fun when you're out there suffering alone. And I don't think that'll be the case. I think he'll be there with me still, like still planning to continue like doing some training and things like that. Um, but like on the track, like it's been really enjoyable having him come back this year and racing. Like, we're at this point we're just good buddies. Like I'm glad to see him go out there and succeed as he's glad to see me go out there and succeed. And it's hard right now being competitors. Like you both want to help each other and push each other, but at the end of the day, we both have to beat each other. So from that aspect of things, like I'm curious to see like it'll be I'm like excited for what's to come with his retirement. Like I'm super happy for him to have walked away on top, like to win his last race is absolutely crazy, mind-blowing to me. And I was so glad to like get to enjoy that with him and be on that podium. Like that was, I've been on the pro podium, 10 times now, and out of those 10 times, that's number one and number two. Like enjoying that moment of having him step away, like that was really cool. Like sharing that with him and seeing that happen. But going forward, I think we both have a lot of excitement, like to see like Chad wants to, obviously continue to grow his brand of Wena Motorsports. And he's always told me, like he enjoys my work ethic and working with me and he wants to help me grow and teach me some things. And like we've gotten to the point where we're really close on the racetrack and we're, both beating each other at times. And like I'm really excited. I feel like I've learned so much in the 5 years I've been pro, especially from him, like just being there day in and out, like seeing his schedule, his routine, what he does. And now that like we won't be so much competitors anymore, I'm really excited to see like what I've been missing, like what secrets, he's kept to, obviously be able to continue to beat me and be at the level he's been at. Like, so I think there's like a mutual excitement there for both of us of just like trying to see like where I can peak at and continue to push me. But yet like it's a little hard knowing that he's not going to be on the gate with me anymore. Like since I've been working with Chad since I've been 14 and that consists of, showing up in the morning, going for bike rides, runs, whatever it is with him and then going to the track and motoing all day. Like knowing that that may not be the same anymore, it's a little saddening. Like just kind of losing a training and riding partner there a little bit, but at the same time, it also kind of gives me like I kind of feel like it puts me in a spot where like I need to push myself to grow, and push myself a little harder now rather than like relying on other people to do that. And I'm excited to like see what that can do for me and what I can what I can learn from him and what I can teach myself by like, things changing and evolving over time.
What about him mentoring you, about helping you progress as a racer with advice and, maybe helping with sponsors and things like that? Is he still involved with your program like that?
Yeah, like I've ran my program the last couple years, like sponsorship wise. Like I do all that for myself, but going forward, like I plan to continue to run his program, and that's still like conversations to be had on like, what things will be, what things I'll be taking care of and what things he'll be taking care of on that side of the program. To be honest, I'm not quite sure yet. There's still like things to be figured out there, but I do know like um, he's committed to helping me evolve on the machine and help me whether it's starts, whether it's riding technique, whatever that is. Like he wants to be a part of my program, and being a kid that used to look up to him as I was coming through the ranks, to have a guy like that wanting to like put his effort and time into me going forward. It's only exciting for me. It's pretty awesome. That's the kind of stuff like you one day dream about, and like I think it's pretty cool to have a guy that was a mentor to me for so many years, and now it's kind of more turned into just a really good friendship. Um, that's something special, and I'm excited to see like what we can do together as a team, because we already can help each other and push each other so much at the practice track when we're trying to compete against each other. Like when we both are, when he's working, like I'll be representing him in Wiener Motorsports, and he'll obviously be wanting to succeed on the racetrack. So having him in my corner where, there's nothing, we both have nothing to lose other than, helping each other to go forward. I think we can both kind of push me to another level. Like I'm really excited to see the few secrets he has, but that he hasn't shared with anyone else. Like I'm excited for that part of things, because I totally believe in his program and trust him, and I feel like he has that trust in me to where like he knows I'm willing to go the extra mile for him, and I think together teaming up, putting in that kind of effort, it's exciting for me to say the least.
So there's a possibility Max Lindquist is going to be a Wien Motorsports rider
Yeah,
under the man that
absolutely.
represents Wien Motorsports.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely no secret. Like, however it looks, like, definitely plan on me being out there on my, Wien Motorsports Alaska program. Like, Scad has been the last few years building my race engines for me. Like, I take care of my practice program, but when it comes to my race program, he is the guy that's, taking the head apart, disassembling everything and checking everything over and rebuilding it, and that's not going to change by any means. It's only going to let him be more hands on, and that's the part of me that gets excited. Is I'm definitely like a comfort rider where like when I have full confidence in the machine, I feel like I can only get better and better, and like having that kind of person in your corner that his record and speaks for itself on like how good he is on like the machine side of things and like the race prep and the racecraft. Like having a person behind me like that, like the confidence I feel like that I'm going to gain, like going to the line knowing he checks off on this thing, and we've done everything we can together to get where we are. Like I that's very special to me, and I feel like that can really help me like propel myself in my pro career going forward.
I think that's outstanding. We all suspected it that was going to happen when he decided to walk away. The last time I talked to him, he wasn't prepared to acknowledge that he was going to walk away anytime soon. One, maybe two, maybe at the end of the year. He kind of left me hanging a little bit, but we're all glad to see that you're the guy because of your relationship with him. And you seem to evolve better and make better gains when he's in your corner. So keep that relationship, brother, and evolve because it's only going to do you right and it's going to help Wien in motorsports.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, and can definitely agree with that. Like I've had, I've done my own learning. Like I've tried things my own way, and we've both like kind of done our own thing, and I think we've both realized together we make a better team than when we're not, and that part of it is exciting to me. Like there's still a lot of details to come on that to figure out, and like not sure to be honest what next year is going to hold or what it's going to look like for the two of us, but I know that we'll definitely be putting in the effort together to show up to the line and represent Wien Motorsports the best we can. And obviously for me, like I'm gonna have my goals and that's what we're gonna be shooting for.
Perfect. Make sure you keep that going and you better keep us informed of what's going on. We want to know if you guys do sign a deal, I would love for you to reach back out to me so that we can get you on the show and talk about that and confirm it and make sure that everybody out there in the racing world knows that it's solidified and for sure.
No, I appreciate that. And yeah, definitely definitely at some point we'll have to reach out. Still definitely far from being finished. There's lots of details there, and as much as that needs to be figured out, it's also exciting. Like there's just a lot of little things that it's crazy, like the behind the scenes, what goes into a pro program, whether it's Chad's, mine. Like there's as much as the racing, as much time as you spend racing and like, on the track working on your program, you're spending, on the phone trying to work with sponsors and figure out what you need, and you know like trying to build the program in the off season is just as important as like your during season stuff, and that's the hard part. Like right now is I need to figure out like what Chad needs and what we more sports needs, what I need, and how to make that all work. And when we do that, I think we can come up with something pretty cool.
I totally agree. I want to transition here a little bit with you and lighten the mood. That was pretty deep for a lot of people. A lot of people are glad to finally hear those things because there's silly season and rumors, but it's not solidified yet, but it's pretty much that Max Lindquist is going to be under that Wien intent next year in 2026. Um, this fun facts here. What was your favorite race moment?
And now we got to go back to it. To be honest, I haven't been happier than crossing that finish line with Chad this year. Like that was the highlight of my season. Was I don't know if I was more stoked for myself to have gotten on the podium at the last race of the year after not having one all year, or to like almost simultaneously cross the line at the same time as Chad as he won his last professional race. Like it was a special moment because like we had obviously you goof around, you mess around. Like we had talked. I had been down by his place the week prior, and we went in to see his nutritionist and all that. And we're sitting in there, and he tells us, "Hey, just so you know, like, need to see you two on the podium next weekend. Like, hasn't happened yet this year." And like going into that race, that was obviously the goal. Like I even had told Chad, like I went and saw him between motos, and I was like I had a good start to my day, and he obviously had a great start to his day. Like, I was first, he was third, and um, like Moto 2 went well for both of us. And I went and saw him between Moto 2 and 3, and like it was definitely like kind of a hard conversation because like almost didn't know what to say. Like, we're both going to line up and we both know it's his last race, but you really don't want to talk about it or say anything about it. And like all I really had to tell him was like, hey, well, like, we'll see you here in about an hour on that box. And like he kind of just was like, all right, like, like I hadn't done it yet this year, and I think he was like glad to see the confidence and like to kind of make that like wish or like however you want to say it, like come come to like come to real life was really cool. Like especially I was I had a bad start. I came through the pack and like I got right to Chad's grab bar, and at that point I put myself in podium contention. Like I had nothing to gain to move forward, and where Chad was at, he had nothing to gain. Like so we both kind of just rode the race together. Like we had to have rode 4 or 5 laps where like we were basically just mimicking each other, and like it almost felt like a practice day to me, like which we haven't got as many of in the last couple years, like with him being hurt and all that, and just like me working, I don't get to ride with him as much as I used to. So for me, like that has to be the highlight of my season. Just like
Are you ready to be captivated by one of nature's masterpieces? Discover the breathtaking beauty of Antelope Slot Canyon, a natural wonder in Page, Arizona. Join us on a guided tour and immerse yourself in the mystical light beams, rich colors, and serene landscapes. With tours at prime sunbeam hours, experience photographer's paradise and capture memories that will last a lifetime. Comfortable shoes, a camera, and a smile are all you need for this adventure. Book your journey today at Antelope Slot Canyon Tours and let the canyon enchant you. Please visit us now, antelopeslotcanyon.com, for more details.
for knowing that it was his last time out there on the track with me, to be able to be right there with him side by side, just about like for almost the entirety of that moto was pretty special. Like crossing that finish line, like he was the first person that you know I saw, gave a big hug to, and said congratulations. And like that's that's the part of racing that I love. Like I enjoy like that camaraderie, and like the genuine happiness we both had for each other was really cool. So that would definitely have to be my 2025 highlight, would be that moment of like, for me, I felt like I had a weight on my shoulders. Like I had 5 podiums in 2024, and like I'd only had one other season in my pro career where I hadn't been on the box in 23, and that was depressing. Like going into that off season, like the questions of like, am I fast enough? Do I have it? Like, can I get back there? And then like to come back last year and do that, there was a lot of injuries. And not that I wouldn't have been there if they were there or not. Like could have still been where I was, but having that full field there of all these veterans that are, going to be soon, retiring and taking off, like it was really special to like put that performance together. Like for me, confidence wise going forward, like very reassuring. Not that like I didn't already feel like I was there, but it's one thing to think it and another to know it. And like that was a pretty good feeling, like for going into this fall, like getting that weight off the shoulders, knowing that like going forward, yeah, like I can do it when there's, all these guys on the gate. Like it doesn't matter like who's there, who's not. Like I can do it if I put my mind to it. And that would definitely have to be the highlight of that weekend, is like sharing that moment with him, and like kind of like gaining that confidence and self-belief of like I still got it. So like I can go forward and continue on that path.
Well, that's pretty awesome right there. Pretty long. That's a long moment. I think it'll be one that not only you, but many people will reflect on for years to come. Especially Chad, it'll be a memory forever. That's pretty awesome stuff. What's the funniest race day memory you have?
Oh, funniest race day memory. Oh man.
It's not getting stuck in the rut, is it?
No, there's a lot of them that, to be honest, just probably shouldn't be repeated. Considering I have a mechanic named Dave that's 67 years old, and some of the things that that man can say in a race weekend, you just have never heard before. And I can always we actually have a moment, and it's quite entertaining. At this point in time, we usually call it the WTF moment of the weekend, and Dave is always is always the feature of it because out of our 3-day race weekend, there's always one point throughout the weekend where we can all look at Dave and say, What WTF? Where did that come from?" Because you just never know when it's going to happen. So I could definitely say, I can't necessarily point out one specific moment, but I can say that I can thank my mechanic Dave for showing up every weekend because he always brings that laughter, that WTF moment of the weekend for us that keeps it light and entertaining.
That's cool. As long as you're having a good time with it, that's awesome. Um, this is a little bit more of a serious question, but what's keeping you stoked about racing right now?
What's keeping me stoked? Like, motivated to go forward, or just like in general, what do I enjoy about racing?
Yeah, just racing in a whole. What's keeping you motivated and keeping you here?
Man, that's a hard one, Lenny. That might be the hardest one you gave me yet tonight. Like for me, um,
You took all the wind out of my sails with the weaning thing. It was like freaking 2 segments early.
I know. Well, you got me here. Like
That's
it's
okay.
hard. It's hard because like there's so many things that go into like wanting to go racing. Just it being a passion. I love to ride my ATV, and it's been a goal since literally I've been going to the doctor since I've been 4 years old, telling them like I'm gonna race professional ATV motocross. It's the one thing in my life that like has never changed. It's been the one thing that I've always wanted to do when I wake up in the morning. Like there's never a day where I can say like, yeah, I don't ever want to do that again. And for me, like, obviously losing a lot of veterans and stuff like that, yeah, it's disappointing. And like, I'm not sure, what our, racing may look like going forward. You never know. But for me, it's just the pure excitement and joy of like I enjoy riding my ATV. I enjoy the practice days almost as much as I enjoy the race days. The only reason I like the race days more is because I'm competitive and you put in all that effort and hard work and you want to go see it pay off. So for me right now, like man, I won't lie, I'm disappointed the season's over. Like I'm excited to go racing because I just had the best finish of my season, and I feel like I'm the strongest I've been all year these last 3 races. And shoot, if we had 4 more races, I'd be in to go racing 4 more times. So I think for me, that's the excitement, the thrill of like, you know, like progress is addicting. And like I didn't see much of that at the start of the year. And then to see the progress and to like feel the progress, whether between the machine and myself, like those are the things that get me excited to want to keep coming back and riding. Like I love, Jay Goble probably hates me. I call him once or twice every week, my shotgun. And, hey, what do you think of this idea? Can we try this? What if I do this? And like having those ideas and things to look forward to go at the track, that's what I live for. Like it's so fun to go to the track and make a change and find something that you hadn't before, and or the other way around. Like either way, it's just exciting when you like have something to look forward to the next piece of the puzzle to figure out. And right now, being young but yet still at this point going into next year being one of the more veteran guys in the class, which is crazy to think about. Like it's exciting for me because like there's so many changes coming, and I feel like I can, really put my best foot forward right now. Like I feel like I'm at like my strongest point of my career almost. And now like, with all the changes that are being made, it just gives me that like what can I do? Like what can I look forward to? And it's hard to think that I gotta wait 6 whole months to go line up and find out again.
Well, keep that passion burning, brother. I'm not sure that if everybody's aware of this, ATV Talk has 3 different shows. We have an audio show or our regular podcast show. That's what we're doing right now, Max. You've been on many times. We air it Tuesdays, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on all your podcast platforms. Make sure you share that, subscribe to it, whatever you can, wherever you can, and pass it on to your friends. If there's a like button, hit it and help us out in the algorithms. Can't even talk and say it, but the more you share it, the better we do, the more we can grow and bring those shows to you. We also have a live Instagram show. You've been on that one as well. It's called Bench Prep Conversation. It's at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays, live on Instagram. Not every Wednesday, but as many as we can fit in. And, we all have busy schedules, so we try to bring them to you as often as possible. On Sunday mornings, the morning show. It's a live industry show, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. You can check that out. We also have that on our YouTube channel. Everything but our Instagram shows ends up on our YouTube channel. So if you missed it, you can check it out there. Max, I appreciate you coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Where can the fans reach you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Always love coming on, and like I do most of my social media through Instagram at Max Lindquist 2, and like ML2 Motorsports, whether it's through that page as well on Instagram, Facebook. Those are my two main social media platforms, and definitely tune in. So it's always fun talking, Leonard.
Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show.